It's February 5th, 2012, and you're watching Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games. Yeah. I think you'd be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard.
Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty. I can hear you groaning inwardly every time Sin's mentioned. You're just cringing.
Alright, welcome to episode 319 of Mods on Air, bringing you the weekend gaming news as modders, developers, and gamers ourselves. I am foyleman, and also on the show today we have with us Stryder. How you doing today, Stryder?
Hola.
Hola. We also have with us Welshy. How you doing today, Welshy?
Hello.
And below him is GameKat. Hello, GameKat.
Hello.
And that other one down there is Breesy. How you doing today, Breesy?
Hello.
Hey, so before we begin, let me remind you all that the show is recorded before a live audience, of which you may be a part. Anyone can listen in and message about the topics as we discuss them. You can also curse along with us because there will be adult language and themes present. And
feel free to just drop into the foil residence, and you too can be part of the live audience.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
That'll go over well.
Where's my bat?
The address is.
Well, for the topics that we discussed, Welshy will post all of URLs into the chat window in case you care to follow along. For the other links that are posted, don't click them, or we will kill you. No, that's an idle threat. That's not real. But something might happen that you don't like. I won't go there. Yeah, so we have some game topics.
Worst
and
gangster
some hardware
ever.
topics and...
No, not really. That's an idle threat. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not going to do that, no.
In fact, would you like a cupcake? Here you go.
Yes. See anything at the household. Okay, so we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. You know what? Some of it can bring up some angry points, and some of it might not, so you're going to have to stick around and find out.
See what Stryder gets mad about today.
Yes, but I will start off with this one. XBLA prices are going to be on the rise. Yes, they're going to rise like the New Jersey tolls. Remember we were talking about how they're getting rid of the points, the Microsoft points. Well, I think this is part of it. You know, get rid of the points, and suddenly we can jack up the prices, and no one will realize because they don't know how much they've been spending this whole time.
Nobody knows what the conversion rate is.
Exactly. So we're talking probably about a big raise, though. Probably we're seeing games that cost 800 points, which would normally convert to real US dollars in $10 form, but they might end up being $15 in the end. So yeah, that's like a 50% raise right there.
Well, is it as well because they don't make any money off sales of the points in retail stores anymore? I don't know if do they make a cut off that? I don't know. They must do, I assume. Because they're not selling the... If they're not doing the points, then they're not selling... You know, you can't go into, like, Game or GameStop and buy the points anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even look. I haven't been in one of those crappy
you can.
stores. And all
I
that
didn't
stuff.
know you could do that.
You still can.
You get
buy
like cards, don't you?
Yeah, it's like a card, and you just enter the code.
Oh, so if you don't have a credit card, you could go in there with your allowance and buy Microsoft points?
Yes.
Yes.
That was the point.
They all line up on allowance day.
Allowance day.
Please, sir, can I have a little more, sir?
with their third-party notes. Yes. So although we will probably see some more of these titles going on sale every now and then, they'll probably try and follow that Valve Steam path. But in all, you know, you got to raise the prices before you drop them, according to Microsoft, and that's what we'll be seeing. Well, actually, we won't be seeing because we probably won't even know. Won't even realize it. Unless you're a developer out there trying to sell it, and all of a sudden your game's up on price and nobody's buying it. Nobody's probably buying it now, anyways. Sorry.
Not going to be much different. Yeah.
I mean, who's promoting your game? Not Microsoft, for sure. Yeah. It's a shame. You know, Microsoft should be pushing these kind of things a little bit more. Like, I should be able to go on to TV and catch a commercial from Microsoft Xbox Live and see some cool games. Apple does it. Why wouldn't Microsoft? Why? Because it costs them money and they don't give a damn. Yes.
Because Apple probably sends them cease and desist letters if they try.
Yeah. We're in the market of the hip, cool things.
Yeah.
Well, one game that did actually come out here on Xbox Live Arcade here is The Simpsons. The Simpsons arcade game from 90-something, right?
I was gonna say, wasn't that ages ago?
I was to say, I remember
Ages.
that.
And you know what? I thought I could remember that too until I started playing the video. Here's the video. Oh boy, I gotta drop that
Oh,
noise.
God.
I'm gonna skip ahead here. And watching this being played, I gotta say I don't remember it.
No, not
I
that.
can't see the video, but I remember it.
No.
No, I don't
Bart
remember that
Simpson
either.
on a
It's
street
just
kicking
frozen,
people.
so I don't know what's going on.
If you go to the
Oh, yeah,
web link,
I remember
It's,
this.
it's just
You
about
skate around
teenage
as Bart.
violence.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
Beating people over the head with your skateboard. Nice. I like it.
Don't you do that now?
That one was
Only if
right
they got
beside
money.
in the arcade that I went to. That one was right between Bubble Bobble and Skate or Die. I spent a lot of money in the arcade.
I remember spending money on this, but I still don't remember playing it. Unless it was another arcade game that I played. Was there another Simpsons one?
there's been quite a few Simpsons games.
Well, in the 90s?
Yeah, in the 90s, because
Yeah,
they just
in
kind
the
of
90s.
passed
Back when
into
they were,
obscurity.
you know,
God,
standing on top of the
ugly.
rock of relevance instead of
Yeah.
hiding under the rock of obscurity.
ABXY, widescreen did not exist back then. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's finally here.
Kind of
and,
scary that this is a little bit better than any other game that's come out recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, does kind of look fun.
It's a button masher. Yeah. Okay. There is another game. Let's no. Going back over to what we were talking about a minute ago with Apple and their games, how they do promote them. Well, they also, I guess, in a way, they used to be a big promoter of stolen idea games. You know, plagiarism, really. I remember us talking about this, talking about how like somebody once went and literally took the source code of a game that was like they released the source code so you could work with it or learn from it or something like that, and they just like changed the title slightly and republished it under their own name and charged people for it on iTunes. And then
That
there's
was
been other.
the Garu, wasn't it?
I can't
Gary?
remember.
I think
Yeah,
it was.
something like that. But then there's been lots of
Dr.
other
Nuno.
games. There's been lots of other games that have also done stuff. There's been a Tiny Birds that is a ripoff of Tiny Wings. I mean, almost a direct ripoff. There's one called Temple Run, which I think is also called Temple Run. The difference is the icon is blue instead of yellow. Almost is the only difference. And iTunes has just done nothing about this complete ripoff of game idea. You know, plagiarism. It's really hard for them to put a definition as far as what plagiarism is when it comes to video games, you know, like when it comes to art and that kind of stuff. On one hand, you can go to court and say, well, you know what, if they change it a little bit, it's really changing everything. But on the other hand, we know that if the game feels, looks, and runs the same, it's really the same game, and therefore we consider it to be plagiarism. But it's hard to put that into words, which I think is why the courts have such issues. And it's going to become a very big issue this year, I think. I think we're going to start seeing this more and more in the courts, especially if we don't see enough of an action, which we see some sort of an action here with iTunes, but if we don't see some more action come up and see some more ripoffs.
I find that premise a little bit humorous because what they're doing is they're targeting what they call pirates, people that are downloading illegal content, yet they're not. There's nothing in the legal system preventing this, which is actually a more harmful piracy. If you wanted to grade it, it's a more harmful piracy than average Joe Schmuck downloading one song or two songs.
Oh, right, yeah.
This is someone actually taking a game, relabeling it, and selling it for, pulling a Welshy on Space eBay and selling it for 5 credits less or whatever, and
Oh, Christ, I must piss a bit
making a
off.
fortune off of it.
Mhm.
Pissing Breesy off all the way.
Yeah. Fixing the market one credit at a time.
This used to be common practice even in the 80s and 90s. I mean, how many versions of Centipede can some of you remember?
Oh, yeah.
That alone.
That would be where you'd get, like, shareware games in the back of magazines, though. Like, do you want a copy of this game? Send $5 to this address, and we'll send it back to you.
So yeah, now we're talking about a huge issue with plagiarism, and that's really what this is. It's plagiarism in an artistic format. And yes, I consider games art, so that's why I'm going to refer to it as such. So where do you draw the line, or how do you actually define plagiarism or copyright infringement when it comes to video games? How do you copyright or claim rights to a game? Sure, you can claim rights to a specific character in a game, like Mario. But what if I took Mario and just made him look like Charlie Brown?
MODSonline has no affiliation with Mario or Nintendo at
all. Well, then you're infringing on Super Mario Brothers and Peanuts cartoons.
Super Mario Brothers is a copyright by Nintendo.
Well, yeah, the thing is, you can't copyright gameplay.
Right. That's the issue.
There's no way
you change it up slightly.
Copyright the story. You could copyright the characters.
Yeah, but you can't copyright gameplay. So you could essentially just steal a game, change the character, Mario to Dave, take the mustache
Dave the plumber.
Yeah,
Dave the plumber.
Dave the architect. To make, we don't want to step on anyone's toes here. But you can't copyright gameplay, so you could have the gameplay exactly the same. It's the same game.
Dave and Steve the electricians.
Well, the story would have to be different. But yeah, I guess the playing experience is a little harder to codify.
Here's a link that I'm going to throw into here, which I don't have time to download because I should have done this before the show. Obviously, I should have done my homework. That is a link to a game that's called SWA, which I consider to be a Mario ripoff. But there is a lot different from Mario. But to me, there's not enough to call that a completely new game. It's not. I think that is plagiarism. But how do you define that as such? I mean, unless you disagree with me, unless you think that the link I just provided is not considered plagiarism.
It's like he's playing with the helmet cam here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I gave you a bad one then?
No, he's just...
The name of the game, I think, is SWA, because that's what
Super
it looks like
World
on my
Adventures.
phone. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it is Mario, isn't it? It looks the same.
If I can get into this game, and if some of you, which I know some of you cannot, some of you can see the game, I'll show
That's
it
my
to
point.
you.
You can't
got these little
gameplay.
icons right here. I don't know what accent he's got, but an icon is an icon.
Okay.
You have these little icons right here.
It cannot focus on that.
You could throw the icon. Oh, instead of turtles, they got foxes.
No, I can't get the
It's
icon
even-
to adjust the
I mean,
shadow,
it's even
sorry.
the same sound effects in some places.
Right. Yes. So to me, that is
Total
plagiarism,
ripoff.
right?
Yeah.
But how do
Yeah.
you define that in a court of law as being
Well, that's
not
the
the
thing, you kind of
That's
can't
why there's
because-
juries
Yeah.
who can play Mario and play this and say, "Holy shit, you ripped them off." I mean, law is going to have to be made eventually to address this.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, Kate, is that they typically make a law too broad and too...
Well, in this case, it probably wouldn't necessarily be legislation. It would be legal precedent, which I guess
they're trying in Canada right now. They've got a copyright act or whatever they've been trying to push through because Big Brother US and the RIAA down there is close proximity to us. They're really pressuring our parliament to impose this law, and of course everybody's in an uproar about it, and I'm definitely contacting my MPs and things like that saying this is bullshit, and then it seems that they just keep stalling it because they really don't want to put it through because they realize it's a bunch of fucking crap.
in the case of this game, I think it would be pretty easy because I remember this level from Mario. It's exactly the same in terms of the storyline.
But see, something like that would be fine, but what they want to do is they want to tack all this other stuff onto it.
Yeah, they always do.
And that's the ridiculous part of it. If you're going to make a policy or a law, or you're going to set a precedence for a specific thing. Don't try and encompass all everything that happens on the internet. We're going to make one law for it. Well, all you're doing is you're trying to legislate life, and don't we have enough of that? Super fucking bland.
Well, they have that stuff now in
Taking 4 hits of brown acid and going to the bar.
I mean, there's cases where copyright infringement goes to a jury, and it's up to the jury to decide if it really is or not. They just, I forget which case.
And typically, if it's that close to 50-50, they're not going to rule in favor of the the questionable or the accused.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is that close. If it's cut and dry, like, yeah, dude, that's like, this one's pretty obvious. They've changed the models and that's about it. But
sure, if one of you showed the game to your parents, they would see it being as a different game because they don't know. They don't understand what the other games. They don't know how they feel. So you go to a court of law. Who's going to be in the jury box if it actually?
But that's the thing. In the past with cases, I think Vanilla Ice had to go through this back in the day because he ripped off Queen, and the jury listened to the Queen song and listened to the Vanilla Ice song, and then ruled that it's way too close to what Queen did that it's copyright infringement. So that's what would probably end up happening, is that they would see examples of both games and then have to make that decision. And I think Ham is right. It's going to have to be on a case-by-case basis.
Well, yeah, it's where you can do you can essentially steal stuff and say, oh well, it's for educational use. Here,
well, it's not,
anyway.
You don't even have to do that. Oh, maybe there, yeah.
In the UK, you can essentially steal stuff, and as long as you change enough of it, and then just go, oh well, like you could steal the Mario source code, for example, make the game, and then make that, and then just go, well, I did, but I only did it to learn how they made Mario, and you'd probably get away with it.
Visit MODSonline.com to learn how to map for Mario.
Then you have international issues because China doesn't have copyright. They don't adhere to international copyright law. They do whatever they want. So they can copy and steal everything.
Yeah, but that's communism. Everybody owns it.
Well,
that's one of the good things about communism.
Here's a picture. If you guys can see it, I threw it up here. This is based on actually an example pulled out on the left side of my screen, hopefully on the left side of your screen too, is a picture of what is known as
Farmville.
Farmtown. This is Farmville. This is Farmtown. Now the difference here is that one's produced by Zynga. That would be what is this? Farmtown, not Farmville, right? Or something like that. And what Farmville goes around and actually they caught a letter. They caught a letter that somebody leaked, an internal letter that says here, we don't need to be the first to market. We just need to be the best. So they're actually... That's the problem.
That's the problem. It's going back to, you can't copyright gameplay.
Right.
Because if you could, the last games in the last 5 years would be screwed. Because we'd have nothing.
But I mean, you look at this, you look at Farmville, Farmtown, whatever the hell you want to call them. They all operate on the same premise of Sid Meier's Sim City. You have a block, you put something on that block.
Mm. It's how'd you copyright gameplay? It's because it's like copyrighting the theme of a book.
That's true.
It's like, well,
there are only about 20
themes
in the
allowed
world.
to write about wizards anymore because Harry Potter's done it.
I don't know.
Although in the case of what we just saw, though, I mean, when you have little swirly golden coins in the same exact place that the other game has little swirly golden coins, then I think you could make a case. But
when you look at the code and it's like the exact same as Mario.
But if you look at it, I always thought Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog were basically the same theme. Just run around breaking shit and taking coins.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, how would you copyright?
But I wouldn't call Sonic copyright infringement. They just took the theme and did it their own way.
I think that's how you'd have to look at it if you were and it got low. Well, is it the exact same or is it just along the same theme?
Right.
Which that Mario one clearly is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're interested in learning how to make learn how to copy games from other people too, you might want to check out this software, which has just been released. No, actually, if you're interested at all in modeling, or I used to use this software for making skyboxes for maps. This software, which is normally over $800, is currently free, and there is no catch that I can figure out. I've already gone and downloaded it. DAZ Studio Pro, Bryce 7 Pro, Hexagon 2.5. These are all software packages made for 3D modeling and animation, customization of posing and animation tools, and I don't know Hexagon very well. It looks like some sort of
Hexagon's good. I've been playing with that this morning. Yeah.
Okay. Free.
It's
all. Go on.
The only
It's
catch is you have to
fantastic.
register.
Yeah.
Register.
I would recommend everybody go out, even if you're not going to download it right now. Register for it.
$800 worth of software.
Yeah, $900 worth of free software. Plus, I think there's a couple other titles that are in that package that they don't even mention. When I looked at what my account was set up for afterwards, it's just fantastic. The only thing missing is Poser, but
yeah, there's a lot to download. I mean, once you sign up, you're like, wait, why are there so many files to download? But so what?
But you don't need to download them immediately. Like even if you think you might be interested in modeling at some point in the future, or scene creation.
Or even if you're not, just get it anyway.
Yeah, get it anyways.
They're all integrated as well, so you can flip things from one to the other, which I've been doing this morning. Take a model from one and put them in.
There you go. You can
That's pretty
swap
good.
the models around, yeah. And there's also plugins available for these things so that you can export them to other games. But I used to use Bryce, an early version of Bryce, because it was very easy to create a terrain that automatically, based on whatever, a fractal noise or something, and it would automatically create this cool terrain, and then it would automatically throw in trees, and then what you would do is just set up the camera for 6 positions, just like 6 sides of a cube, which is your sky map, and just render out 6 images, and you got a sky map, and it was really easy. And at that point, it was also a lot cheaper. But now it's free.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it was cheaper than free. Hang on, they paid you?
It wasn't cheaper, right? Okay.
And if you get it now, you get a 30% off voucher, which is completely useless.
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Well, no, you get a 30% off voucher if you want to buy models for your DAZ products.
Like even if you're not interested in 3D modeling and stuff, every computer nerd has a library of software. Start yours today.
Start yours today. And this will be one that's not stolen.
Yes, please.
Starting you down the path of rightness.
Consumer advice right there.
Yeah.
Where did I put all those files, anyways?
All 5 of us here are all up for Popehood. Or Popethood. In the case of GameKat.
Popethood. Yeah, they don't allow that. They don't allow women to have rights.
It's almost 4 gig in total, all the files.
They're still pissed off that they allowed you guys to vote, but
and there's 27 files if you get the Windows and Mac versions. By the way, both Windows and Mac versions are included.
There you go. Mac
and
version as well.
I grabbed them both because I do some iTunes development on the Mac. I have a Mac, so why shouldn't I also have the Mac version?
And it's free.
It's free. Are you kidding? Okay, anyway, there you go. So check out this. I did tweet about it earlier this week and already picked it up. You might want to do the same. It's not free forever, so go and do it. All right. Jumping over to another one. Speaking of modding, anyways, Skyrim Creation Kit is supposed to be out on Tuesday. That means you should be able to start making and changing Skyrim and producing your own version.
In case you don't have enough time sucked into Skyrim yet.
Yeah.
And then you can publish it under your own game name.
You can publish it to Steam.
Yeah, which is all built in, which is nice.
That is
nice
really
touch.
nice. Yeah.
It'll
you won't have to go
and Steam will also update. So at any time, if you've got a mod installed, anytime the developer releases an update, it'll automatically update.
There's not a lot of information out there as far as what's being included and how things are going to work, but I know I've been trying to decode some of what you see in the video that was provided, And what it looks like is you're going to end up with some C-sharp-like programming if you want to do any kind of custom scripting. It's going to allow you to... You're going to be doing a lot of work with models. Now, you can use all existing models, but you can also create your own models and replace some of the things that are in there. And I say that because a lot of things look like they're drag and drop, and in a way they are. You know, you take a model, you put it into the world, you move it to where you want it, you duplicate it or you don't, and then you keep doing that. And that's really the way most games are made. And this doesn't look like it's being dumbed down. They say it is, and I believe them that this is one of the tools they use in-house. I can't get a good enough close-up of the video to find out anything more about it. It looks like they have a nice quest building system for tying together messages and stuff for NPCs.
But what's the surprise? No one seems to be focusing on with the surprise. Like, the surprise is it's going to come with a fee, $5 a month.
Yeah, well, okay, there could be a bad surprise. I didn't think of that. I hear surprise and I think, oh, it must be something good. No,
everybody thinks good surprise.
Yeah. And yes, like
I was going to map for Skyrim, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
I might have to download and check this out because it looks interesting. I'm interested to see what they're doing, how they created Skyrim, and what tools they worked with, and then I don't know. Maybe we
check it out for a week.
You're gonna get sucked into Skyrim. Yeah.
I was only sucked in for most of a week.
He's got 180 hours gameplay in most of a week.
Yeah.
I didn't blink much.
But if you guys get into this, we can support it over on MODSonline if you're interested, and help each other build things. So it's something worth checking out if you're into that kind.
Be like little MODSonline town, where everybody wears the cape of crafting.
God, cape of crafting.
Okay. Oh, I got a new one here. I got a word from our sponsor to throw in here. So.
Ooh, we have sponsors?
Sure, why not?
No.
So sorry for the volume if it's a little loud. I'll adjust it as it goes, but here you go.
No. I'm Alan Bishopman. Come on down to Easy Swords, located in the Swallow Valley Mall. We got all kinds of fucking swords here. I love my swords. Come on down to Easy Swords! Come on down to Easy Swords! Everyone loves my swords! We got all kinds of fucking swords here. Come on down to Easy Swords! Come on down to Easy Swords! Everyone loves my swords! We got all kinds of fucking swords here. We got banjos, slingers, bye-bye, chopman, bigler and swan, Grimtalia, tiny sword core, skid blade, Jin and Sons, neck sword, east whim sword, future cut, and suits of on. Come on down to Easy Swords! Come on down to Easy Swords! Everyone loves my swords! We got all kinds of fucking swords here. I will personally fit you into the perfect sword for you. I will personally fit you into the perfect sword.
How's that feeling? Good. You feel good when you're doing this motion because there's a lot of it.
I love my swords.
You will leave with a sword and a smile. I guarantee it.
I love my swords.
I'm not going.
There's no words.
Okay.
I'm just laughing at coffee.
You will too. We're in this together now.
I know that guy from someplace.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dear son.
That sword guy. He's been on like Reno
You're not
911 or
leaving
something.
unsatisfied. I will satisfy you.
That's a smile.
Will Forte.
There you go.
So, what just happened?
Yeah, he's done stuff, that guy. He's like been in movies and...
Let's see what Will Forte does.
Sure, you can head on down and get yourself a sword.
Will Forte
Help you
has been on
personally.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
and that's
He's
it.
been on Tom Green.
Oh, see, that explains it right there.
I guess it does, huh?
He's been on MacGruber.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole minute 39 of my life I'm not getting back.
All right, next topic. This one was sent to me by someone here, and it went on to, it's an opinion piece about Call of Duty is boring and needs to change. I think we've actually discussed this.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, it's good that IGN put it in writing, but I like some of the comments that are in there. Like, if this is truly how IGN feels, I mean, this is written as an editorial, but if this is truly how IGN feels, then stop giving these fucking Call of Duty games that just keep getting puked out every fucking year a 9 out of 10 rating or a 10 out of 10 rating before they even release. They're crap.
IGN
They're the same shit over and over.
IGN have stopped doing it.
Stopped doing what?
I think giving like 10 out or 9 out of 10 before the game's even released.
But even still. Okay, so they give it 9 out of 10 post-release. It's not that good. Yeah. It's the same shit. It's the same story. It's the same scenes. It's the same gameplay.
It's the big bag of money rating. And that's the other thing, is a lot of these companies are afraid to say this, which is, if you notice the article, it's got opinion written in big in big bold letters, but a lot of them are afraid to give it a low rating, because then, particularly like things like game trailers, they will not, because then they won't get their exclusive interviews, and I think these bigger
That's probably
companies,
why we don't get any exclusive interviews.
That's why we don't get any. Yeah, exactly.
We'll call a spade right there.
We'll give you loads of money. Yeah, you can give me money, but I ain't gonna.
Yeah, I'd say the franchise started out excellent. It had great ideas. It was going somewhere, and then it turned around, and
I think it went there and then it just stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing has changed since.
Well, they didn't want to mess with the formula that was making them so much money. Why mess with that?
Which is an excellent argument, not just a good argument, because some people don't like change. People like the same thing. They just want a slight difference, and it makes sense. Makes financial sense for some companies to just.
I'm sure their profit margin is reflecting that there are plenty of people out there who likes Call of Duty just the way it is.
But the people are getting complacent, or the people are getting angry about the complacency of it, because Call of Duty, when Call of Duty came out, and if we're going to go back, we're going to look at Modern Warfare, because that's where really the series switched gears. Because yes, when it first came out, when Call of Duty first came out, when the team had moved over from Medal of Honor, they set the bar there. When they came out with Modern Warfare, they kicked it up a notch by getting out of the World War II scene, going to modern. They call it Modern Warfare 2. What did they do? They upped the engine a little bit, but they've done. And I don't even believe they did. They upped it that much. They actually took off some of the stuff that was bolted on by Treyarch.
Made the
so we're looking at a model. A business model, or a not even the business model, but we're looking at a franchise model that was set 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah,
and
that's what
it hasn't changed. What they did, though, was they elevated that bar to here. But then you take all these other game companies that have gone and they've got, Battlefield 3 has said, okay, yeah, you've got that bar there. We're going to go above it, and it might not be. It's not the same game. It isn't. I understand that. Haters be hating, whatever. Battlefield 3 is not the same game, but at least they're fucking trying to change and up themselves but Call of Duty is not changing. And it's sitting there and it's trying to be stagnant and occupy this king seat. And what's going to happen is they're going to find out they're just getting ground underfoot because they're not changing. They're not offering anything new. And their fan base of fanboys is actually getting really pissed off. And I don't believe that they're listening to them. It's like, let's give them another sparkly thing, and they won't know.
And lots of product endorsements on TV.
Yeah. It's alright to sit there for once or twice, but not when you just go in 4 or 5 titles down the line at the same thing.
Year after year. Like they're trying to pull a Madden NFL. It's not going to work.
Change the jerseys and team names, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I mean, the way I was looking at it is, this is this is a form of entertainment. It's a form of digital media, whatever you want to call it. But it's kind of their responsibility to innovate and go forward. If you look at it in an art form, then if artists hadn't have gotten sort of thought out of the box and done different things, we'd all be looking at the same goddamn portrait. You know, everything would be one color.
I was just going to say, it'd be fantastic if you looked at it like that. Here's Call of Duty. It's awesome. Yeah, everybody. Okay, here's the same Call of Duty a year later, but it's black and white now. So oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Going artsy,
okay,
yeah.
Next year, here's the same Call of Duty, but it's all psychedelic colors. Okay. How many times are you going to rehash the same shit? It's like, yeah, I ate some corn and out it popped, and I'm going to eat it again.
Only this time it's going to be blue corn.
I'm trying to look up what we have going on as far as releases. Are they even trying? Because maybe we're just missing the point. Maybe all the games that they're trying with are failing. We just haven't noticed. And I'm looking up a list of games, and I feel like I'm missing out on some games here from Activision specifically.
Well, like, I mean, I kind of figured it was just us for a while, like because we're modders and whatever. Yeah. We like to see new things, and we like to see people.
We're a whiny bunch.
Yeah, exactly. We like to be impressed, and I thought it was just us. But then articles like this, and if you kind of read the comments underneath.
What's even more worrying is even console players are triggering onto it.
Exactly.
That's a worrying time.
I guess I don't have a very up-to-date list. But like within 2011, working backwards from Modern Warfare 3, we have Skylanders, Spyro Adventure, Generator Rex, X-Men, NASCAR, GoldenEye, Transformers, NASCAR, Transformers, Spider-Man, Singular. That, you know what? That just says it all right there.
They all tanked, yeah.
NASCAR, Spider-Man, or X-Men, Transformers, James Bond.
Wow.
It's going to be funny, though, because what's going to happen is Activision's model, their vision, unless they change it, everything is just going to fall down around them. Sell your Activision stocks now.
I think we've seen.
I mean, look at that. They haven't come out with an original IP in 10 years.
Wait, Singularity.
Singularity was good, but I finished it in one afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, what's
it was single.
The only industry
one afternoon.
And to be honest with you, it started out much stronger than it finished. The way it started out, I was expecting a lot more to it. I think I felt like they got bored or tired about halfway through and just, all right, let's just end this thing and move on to the next one.
You mean like Rage?
Yeah.
I think what that was is it's like, okay, we've spent all the money we're allowed to on this game because we're investing too heavily in our other title.
When Singularity started, I really liked the opening. I liked all the clues that they left laying around, is like that made you say like, what the hell happened here? But I felt like then it just accelerated and ended quick. Mm-hmm. Really before dinner, actually. So I wasn't expecting it to end before dinner.
I was done before dinner? What the fuck? Now I gotta cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't finished Rage yet because Skyrim came out, and I was enjoying Rage a lot, but then everybody said it just stops.
It did.
That would piss me off. So I kind of don't want to go back to it. I want to leave it in my memory as a fun time.
I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah.
I think Battlefield is in jeopardy of doing the exact same thing here, if they haven't already. You know, because we have Bad Company, which jumps into Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 did pick up some of its older accessories, but I gotta say, I don't know if there's really that much change. Where the next game of Battlefield will be the tell sign there as far as what they're going to be doing with the whole thing. They're announcing this week that they're releasing DLC soon, like really soon. Next DLC, I don't even know when the date is, I guess. But they're also saying that Battlefield 3 sold 10 million copies. I think they said the same thing about Call of Duty. So repeating yourself does pay off.
But
I think
that's the thing.
that
They
might.
may have sold 10 million copies, but how many people actually liked it?
I didn't even play the story. I've only played multiplayer.
I played some of the story. I got to the tank bit.
The single player on Battlefield's really not.
I played the
But
story
then-
until it crashed, and then I just never went back to it.
But yeah, you know, it's like going to a strip club for the music. It's you don't play Battlefield for the single player.
I'm still enjoying Battlefield, and a mate of mine's just rebuilt his PC so he could play it on the PC because he said he'd hate it on the console. So people are still trying to play it, which is a good sign.
Well, ABXY, I didn't buy the BF3 for its single player, so I'm not ragging on it. I'm not playing it. I don't know why people are saying there's something wrong with it. So you
Yeah, I
guys
just
have a
haven't
idea?
played it. I'm not saying I never will. I just haven't. I just go on to play multiplayer. So
It wasn't bad. It was okay. The thing that bugged me is the last like half an hour is just one long quick time event, and that's
can't
not
even
an exaggeration. You just
Yeah.
press like buttons for about 6 or 7 minutes. Like
Oh,
one
that
button.
was the game that started out with you like press a key to continue this.
Tap an X
script,
on it.
This
Yeah.
video. Yeah, I remember that part and thinking it was very console-y and not being happy with it. But still, I didn't buy the game because I wanted to play single player. I bought it because I wanted to play multiplayer.
No, exactly.
yeah, I figured the single player is just a bonus
But I
to
think,
play when nobody
DICE,
else is online.
DICE kind of figured that as well. It's like, we know you don't want to, but we'll do it anyway just to see what we can do.
All right, there's another game out there that you may or may not be interested in, and Morphus, yes, this one is free. It's called Repulse. I don't know if we must have talked about this in the past. I don't know.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, Repulse. Here it is. It is a first-person shooter type game.
Is that the guy of Halo at the top there?
It looks like it,
him.
right? It looks
Looks
like
a
Halo,
lot like him.
And if I might be wrong, but it looks like the gameplay has a bunch of people falling on their heads. But just like another
Die on
game
your
that
head.
we know of.
Yeah.
It looks like a mix of Halo and Blacklight.
They're calling this a fast-paced 3D sci-fi MMO FPS. There's a couple of game modes in there.
That sounds like the Knight Rider theme tune.
I am not familiar enough with that theme song to know.
Oh.
What, Knight Rider?
Yeah.
Everyone knows the Knight Rider theme tune.
Now I think this is going to remain free, but right now it's in beta, and I think what
That's
they're
the
going
only.
to do is in
That's the only TV show they get in Wales.
Knight Rider.
Over here, the old
Get
people
your
watch
old
Matlock.
shows.
Over there, the young people watch Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, oh god.
Can't get enough of that David Hasselhoff.
Knight Rider,
You can
Magnum
never have
PI.
enough half. Magnum PI.
But I think where they're going to try to make their money is in what they're calling the Repulse Item Mall, which is a store where you buy. I don't know what you buy. I didn't go to the mall, but it is now open. If in case you're interested.
It's like Sky Mall in the airplanes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, a
Sky.
pet shaver. I'm tired of
Passive
hair.
audience, alcohol in hand. I will enjoy this very much when I'm back on the ground. Order it now.
I'm gonna order. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And another game. I did tell you guys that I wanted to try and find out about Star Trek, and I did download and play Star Trek Online again. Now I told you that I did that when the beta came out and played it and found it boring. Well, I tried it again. I gave it another fair try because I've heard there's been lots of changes, and yeah, there's been some changes, but it's still boring as hell. I think one of the biggest problems is that I'm sitting there
It's
reading
not
all
Star
the
Wars.
conversations.
Well,
That's the
in Star
problem,
Wars-
it's not Star Wars.
Oh, I hate reading conversations.
Right. In Star Wars, there are at least there's some voice acting that'll go along with what's happening. But in this game, I'm sitting there reading what I'm supposed to do, and it's really like boring. So right now it's free to play. Star Trek Online is free to play, and
That's why.
that's it. That's all
It's
there is
very
to it.
tricky to find a balance of making a good immersive story versus boring people with too much talk.
Mhm.
It is tricky.
But
Mass
you don't
Effect
talk
did a
to
very
me
good
then.
job.
Maybe just put the voice
Mass
acting
Effect.
in.
And Star Wars does pretty good with that too.
Yeah, Star Wars does good. You can tell they reuse some stuff, but they do it smartly.
Like, I felt when I stopped playing, I was playing Deus Ex a couple weeks ago, and I stopped playing it because I got really tired of the sound of that guy's voice. And then
he does sound like he's got throat cancer.
Well, it's just a bad Clint Eastwood impression. That's all it is, and it was really getting on my nerves. And then, like, I'd walk up to somebody, and there's like 4 or 5 different conversation threads that you can, and I'm like completely OCD, so I have to go through all of them because, God forbid, I miss something in the game. And Sparky McSparks had posted on Facebook that he thought it was awesome and he loved it, and I was like, no, I
really
stopped
liked it.
playing after 2 hours. I couldn't. I liked it, but there was just too much conversation, and I just couldn't take it. I just got fed up, and I was like, delete, 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 goodbye, next.
Enough talky, more shooty.
Yeah, exactly. But now Skyrim, there's a lot of talky in Skyrim, but I didn't ever push me to the point where I was like, come on, let's fight now.
Well, there's another game that's coming out that's going to be free to play. Well, there's another game that's been out for years and years and years and is now going to become free to play, and that is, yes, EverQuest. So if you haven't gotten your EverQuest on in the last 10 years, maybe you want to do it again.
That's genuinely still going.
Maybe you want to do it again. Probably not, but...
Probably not, no.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But, there's been lots of updates and patches and DLCs and whatnot.
No, I'm not interested in EverQuest.
Nah.
I'll try Guild Wars 2 when it comes out, because I did enjoy Guild Wars for a while.
I've already played it.
Yes.
Okay.
No, because it was the one game that Eurogamer that I just didn't care about, and yet they showered me with free gifts. Just like, here, have a bag.
Clearly, they saw where I had to send you cookies to get you to play Guild Wars, and they were waiting for you. They knew you could be bribed.
I'm still not. No, I'm still not going to play it.
I was the one thing that I wanted from Guild Wars they didn't have available to us, which was those nice soccer shirts.
Oh, yes, those awesome arena.net shirts.
Apparently you had to work for arena.net or some bullshit like that to get a shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bunch of shit. You couldn't even buy them. They would have made a fortune if they were selling those things. More than the game will make. Sell those at PAX. Well, had bigger than concert t-shirts, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that. Unless it's like a Led Zeppelin shirt from like their first tour or something, and you were there.
I was there, man. No, that's a PCU line.
Oh, so Welshy was talking about Mass Effect 3, right? They are...
I wasn't, but if you imagine I was, okay.
Weren't you talking about Mass Effect? Somebody here was talking about how they enjoyed Mass Effect. Was it?
I like Mass Effect.
All right, I thought they were. Never mind. It's in all my brain here. All of the conversation going on up there. So what they're saying, what BioWare is saying here is that you should be keeping your Mass Effect 3 saves just in case. Basically, I think they did this with the other game, right?
Mass Effect 2 saves.
Yeah. Well,
Mass Effect 3 hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you want to keep...
Well, no, they're saying save your Mass Effect 3 saves because apparently if you play the demo...
Oh, so save your demo saves.
No, what it is they're saying Mass Effect. They've been kind of pushing out that Mass Effect 3 is kind of the last in the series. It's, if you've played the game, it's Shepard's and story is coming. That's their tagline. And then the producer or whoever he is was kind of like, yeah, you might want to keep your saves though. Hint, hint.
In case you don't like the ending you get.
Well, that or in case we decide to make another game.
Decide to go back for 4.
Well,
yeah.
I want to kick that horse one more time. I was just going to say, wow, they're actually saying it's going to be the last installment and they're ending the story. I actually respect and admire them for doing that. But
yeah, that's why this comment really annoyed me because I really liked the Mass Effect games, and if you played them, you do the first game, you make your choices in the first game, you keep your save. You play the second one, you get to import that, and then the choices you made in the first game affect the story in the second one. And they're doing the same with the 2 to 3. Which it's cool. That's really good. You know, you feel like you got a story going on there, but
You're
then
invested.
I loved the games, but then I was kind of happy that they were ending it. It's kind of like, well, they haven't made a bad one yet, so let's stop before we make a bad one
Yeah,
and ruin
seriously.
my whole experience of the game. And now they're not. They're just going to keep going. Okay, great. Thanks. Well done.
Well, it's a pretty intricate universe they've created there, and if they're going to end Shepard's story, I could see them going on with DLC for some of the other characters.
I think that's probably what they're going to do.
I mean, I could see that being entertaining enough, and they still make some money off of it. So why not?
I think they have a comic book series as well, actually.
Yeah, interesting little tidbit here about BioWare, Mass Effect. BioWare is out of Edmonton, which is just up the road from me here, and they had brought in a whole bunch of posters to where my brother works. He works at a framing shop to get framed for Mass Effect 3 and the upcoming thing. So when they were ready to go, they gave them a shout, and the guys came and they all they dropped off a whole bunch of BioWare games that were, created in Edmonton. Mass Effect 2 and Dragon's Age and Dragon's Age 2 and all that, all signed by the artists there and the employees and such. And so my brother got a whole bunch of free swag.
That's nice of them.
Kinda cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought you were going to say that they asked him to frame that stuff so they could auction it off or something.
No.
Yeah.
That's nice
very
of them.
Hopefully that wasn't in lieu of the bill.
Yeah, right. It's a barter system up there in Canada.
Yeah. You bring in a couple chickens and a goat, and we'll trade you for any. Mind you, it's just like the Hutterites up here do that, which is just like your Amish.
Yeah.
They'll barter for anything.
All right. Well, Microsoft is out there to try and get you to buy a Kinect for your PC. Yes, it is now available for, what is it, $250 basically, so that you can do Kinect's skeletal tracking and make Windows 7 and Windows 8 games with Visual Studio and C++ and C#. I mean, you could actually I have a video of a game that you could make. Look at this game. Let's jump ahead. It's exciting.
It already looked amazing.
Triangles. Not only that, but you can talk to it. It recognizes talking.
What are you
That's a
supposed to
fucked
be
up
doing?
trip.
Pink, she said.
Stars.
Stars.
I don't understand what's going on here.
10 years ago, if you stood in your living room talking to your TV, you'd be committed. And now that's a social activity.
And the guy on the left says to the girl on the right, "You're looking fat." But I'm a stick.
This looks worse than the PlayStation Move.
Yeah, this is pretty shocking.
Can you use your Kinect on a dog?
No.
Like
to do what?
No, you
well,
cannot.
to do bone tracking and animations.
Depends on what you're trying to do to your dog.
I'm just thinking, we were talking about using the Kinect for animating games and such like that.
Yeah.
And it builds your bone structure and makes your animations actually pretty easy. So anything that's a biped, it works well for. What if it's a quadruped? So can you use your Kinect on a dog? Will it recognize?
No.
Well,
currently,
no,
it
because you
cannot.
get some sort of weird two-legged dog.
I'm not saying it can't be
It's a
done,
monster.
but it currently cannot. It is not set up to do that currently.
Okay. Just trying to get a grasp on the limitations.
Really like to see how the Kinect starts to interact with airport security and medical scans and things like that. I think there's
Peter's going to be all over that.
Yeah.
Kinect is racist
While
against
you're getting
animals.
a surgery at Red Rings on you and yeah, I don't want that
gotta
kind
call
of game.
India for customer support.
Yeah.
The interesting thing here is that Microsoft is not just selling it only in our Microsoft Store, but they're also selling it over on Amazon.com. I thought that was odd for Microsoft to actually let another store carry it. right now.
I did read an article a couple weeks ago about a guy who has the Kinect hooked up. He lives in this like super eco-friendly house, and in order to maximize like the cost savings and the energy savings in his house, he hooked the Kinect up to like his thermostat and things like that, so that he could change the
So if he's
temperature
shivering,
like
the heat comes on.
wave of his hand, so that it's sort of, he doesn't have to. It was basically, he was saying in order to maximize the benefits of the house, he'd have to sort of constantly be monitoring the energy flow and the sun and the temperature and all this other stuff. So he hooked his Kinect up to it. So now he just like sort of does it with a wave of his hand from across the room.
You know,
Thing with that
they
is
had
I'm
something like
quite
that
rich,
when
dude.
I was a kid. Clap on, clap off.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah, I was wondering where it was going. You went with the clap on lamps. Interesting.
The younger audience just doesn't get it.
Yeah, I know. You could do what to lamps? No way! Yeah, we used to have this thing too. It was called, get up and walk to the thermostat.
Yes. Dad was good with that remote. Right. Yo! Thermostat! There you go.
And give me a beer while you're up.
where he's standing like 2 feet from the TV going, why isn't this remote working? Like, press the buttons, you're right there!
Okay, Connect. Okay, the Steam mobile app, Valve Steam's mobile app for iPhone and Android is now available for everyone to install and quickly uninstall because it has absolutely no value whatsoever other than the ability to chat with friends and to buy games while you're drunk at the bar.
Which is exactly what they were going for.
That's the exact reason why I haven't downloaded this.
Yep, same here.
Because that's just not gonna end well for me.
It's bad enough coming home drunk and buying those games.
It's bad enough, yeah.
I pointed to buying the games twice.
It's bad enough trying to remember what you did last night. I don't need credit card statements to...
Nancy Drew, what was I thinking?
Oh my god!
So now either Welshy or Breesy has to get the app, while the other one has to get the other one to buy them games, and gift it to them while they're at the bar. I'll pay you later.
It's like what I said last week about the Facebook rate thing. You steal someone's phone and you put something stupid on their Facebook page. Now you can steal their phone and buy Steam games.
Yeah.
Barbie's Horse Adventure 17 times.
Well, Origin hasn't yet done that. They haven't put out the mobile app, but they have They do have a new quote here saying that they have 9.3 million registered users and they're selling games like mad, and we're gonna start adding more games that will.
Well, but how many copies of Battlefield did they say they'd sold? 10 million, was it?
Yeah, but how many are playing?
So how does that work out?
I don't know. Yeah, wait.
Because if you have to have
Wait a
Origin
second.
to play Battlefield, so where's that
I
.7?
didn't get that until now.
Unless they're counting those sales as console sales as well.
They
So if
could be.
Origin has 9.3 million people registered,
how?
but they sold
have they
10 million, where did the other 0.7 million people go?
That 10 million
Less.
must include consoles.
Yeah, that's what it must. Yeah, there must be. Because otherwise,
Okay.
that doesn't make any sense.
All right. All right. So anybody here have stock in THQ? If so, it's too late to sell already.
I think Stryder got rid of his when Stalker came out.
Stalker? Yeah, I got the memo in Russian.
Yeah, we've got CEOs now taking half salary. They're laying off people, and they're getting warnings about being delisted from Nasdaq Stock Exchange, which is not sounding good. It's sounding like Atari. And good thing THQ owns all those IPs. What are they doing with them? If they, I bring that up because THQ, when you sign up with THQ as a publisher, they say that they have to own the IP or they won't sign you. So anything they publish, they pretty much own the intellectual properties of that game.
And then they wonder why they're not making any games. Or they're not getting companies to make games for them.
I don't know. It's looking bad for THQ. And what are we going to lose out? We're going to lose out on future Stalkers.
No!
What was that game with Red Faction? I was trying to think of what is it? Yeah, Red Faction.
Yeah, they kind of killed that series by themselves anyway.
Ooh, Frontlines, Fuel of War. Goodbye. What else do I have?
I still remember that day when you were like, yeah, this is going to be our new 2142. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And that was after the Stalker incident of 99.
Of 99.
That's all I see up on the shelf. Yeah, crap. Alright.
It's, you skipped over one there that I had submitted, but whatever.
That I never saw then.
Yeah.
Because I don't follow the same one, so you got to tell me about them. All right,
well,
I
you're
got
gonna
the
have
one.
to. That's okay.
Let's see.
It's that Origin has 9.3 billion users.
Well, I did talk about Origin.
We just
and
said
the article that I have here says Origin has 9.3 million.
Oh, million. And sorry, and one quarter of those are because they forced you to have Origin to have Star Wars, because you weren't allowed to buy Star Wars without it.
Same with Battlefield. I couldn't buy Battlefield without Origins. So.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole question came
Star
out.
Wars and Battlefield are holding Origin up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and then finally we have the talk of lawmakers trying to propose a bill. Actually, they are putting a bill in the U.S. here for, well, it doesn't mean it's going to pass. It just means they're talking about it, for violent video games. Lawmaker proposes tax on violent video games. So if your game is violent, they want to tax it more.
Are you sure that's not a Canadian law? Fuck.
In other words, because cigarettes isn't making them as much money anymore.
Just what we need, another idea for taxing us up here.
Yeah, there's just somebody out there saying, oh, that's disgusting, these violent video games. He says, oh, there's actually a game out there called Bully. Yeah.
Where's he been for the last, 5 years?
I don't know. So since we can't get them banned, let's put a tax on them. You know, they're...
Or people are not smoking as much anymore. So, people like video games, so yeah, we'll put a tax on that.
Next will be Cheetos, Doritos, and Mountain Dew.
Not my Mountain Dew.
Cheerios and Mountain Dew? Doritos.
Cheerios.
You said Cheetos, I thought.
I said Cheetos and Doritos.
Cheetos?
Cheetos.
Learn how to speak English. Fucking Welshman.
Yeah. All right, those are all the topics I have. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to shout out here.
Draft a Crate. It's an awesome game. I gotta get pumped about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to sell me on that earlier this week. I wasn't. Move to Canada.
It's out of beta, man. It's out.
Draft a Crate. No and no.
Yeah, Metro's been delayed. Yeah, I saw that. Until
PAX
2022,
Prime
yeah.
dates been announced for 2012.
Yeah, but it's we've talked about Max Payne. Everyone is so uninterested in it that I just didn't even feel like putting it in the topics list. Yes, they could sell it with Red
PAX Prime is the Labor Day long weekend.
Where is that?
Seattle.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. Not far.
Yeah.
No, PAX I think was always 3 days.
I could have swore it was 4 because it was Thursday through Sunday. I thought
No,
Thursday was the media day.
Said that to piss me off.
Wow, I don't know. I can't remember now. I feel like it was 3. Maybe it was 4. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's weird that they would shorten it. But yeah, okay. So PAX is coming up. But the registration's not available yet, so that's why we're not talking about it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sit on the edge of your seat until then. We'll keep you informed.
In that case, I'll just wrap things up here, I guess, and play the closer as I do so. I want to thank our hosts for taking the time out to chat today. Stryder, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's always something to do Sunday morning. Is that less Welshy?
Welshy, thank you very much for joining us today and for posting the show notes as we went along.
No problem.
GameKat, thank you very much for joining us.
Anytime.
And Breesy, thank you for coming in here and joining us last minute.
No problem.
Awesome. Okay, until next week, everyone. I want to thank you, the fans of MODSonair.com, and the subscribing members of MODSonline.com for making the show possible. And until next weekend, everyone, happy gaming. Thanks for watching this week, and come back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern when we will broadcast another live show. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@modsonair.com. And please consider subscribing to MODSonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners.